the swamp creatures are much deeper and much worse than we ever thought. And there is such a thing as the deep state. And they're filled with hatred, venom, and rage.
Before we get into this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break. Wow, how about this? Noble Gold, one of the sponsors of our show, have just been picked by Consumer Affairs, you know, the rating agency, as the overall #1 gold IRA company in the US. Talk to the team today if you're thinking about precious metals. And if you quick, they're giving away an incredible 1/10 ounce American Eagle gold proof coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold. And all you got to do is just call the team at 1-877-646-5347 to find out more, or you can just visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Now, let's get to this video. What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. And just real quick, I want you to check out this video. I put together a compilation of video clips from two sources mainly. One is, of course, Glenn Beck, and the other one is from Australia, y'all. That's right, man. Y'all are going to love this because this right here condenses all this information to kind of give people a better understanding of what is going on with this FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago and the whole beef between Trump and the deep state and all that good stuff. Yeah, man, they condensed this mess and put it in a nice little, actually, they did it and then I redid it. I condensed it. So make sure you check out the original clips, which are going to be listed below this video. I want to give credit to them based on me using all of their clips. Plus, I'm putting this together so you ain't got to worry about the commentary from Kev from Kevin's Corner. Yeah, you can send it to your friends and just say, hey, man, watch this. This might open your eyes to what's really going on around this United States here. And I also will be doing a live show on these same clips so you can kind of get a heads up. Go ahead, watch this, and then you can also see me go live where I actually give my commentary based on these clips. So enjoy it and send it to all your friends, okay? God bless y'all, and I see y'all when I go live to talk about this. Y'all better be there. Be there or be square, because I'm going to go ahead and put my 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 cents in. All right? Take care. God bless.
But I have to tell you that our country is in serious, serious trouble.
The United States is held up as the bastion of democracy and freedom. The land of the free, they say. Well, under the glossy facade, there lies a group of faceless, unelected and permanent power brokers who really call the shots. They're a clandestine network of individuals and organisations who have the power to influence elections, dictate foreign policy and control the economy for their own gain, with little regard for the interests of the American people. Donald Trump and his supporters call them the deep state, and he's made it his mission to drain the swamp. But it seems they're not going down without a fight.
We are going to end the government of corruption, which it has definitely been. And we're going to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C.
According to the former president, the deep state is made up of the Pentagon, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, as well as other bureaucracies such as the EPA, IRS, and parts of media, big business, and big tech. Trump and his allies see it as a targeted attempt to weaponise these agencies for political gain, to control and influence the outcome of elections, and to pull the strings from within to serve their own interests. They elevate their own to positions of power and stop at nothing to eradicate adversaries. The people in these agencies are not elected officials. They are permanent fixtures in Washington, and they usually outlast any president or politician. They are known as the shadow government because they're faceless and largely unknown to most average voters, yet they wield unprecedented power. The concept of a deep state or shadow government was first seen in Turkey towards the end of the 20th century. A shadow government leaked propaganda in the media and engaged in violence to undermine the government of the day.
The clear example of that simply would be, you could be elected into government, but not necessarily governing the country.
2 weeks ago, I went to Pittsburgh, where the Union Pacific Railroad announced the largest purchase of American-made electric battery locomotives in history.
Which is what the deep state would expect you to do. And this has been somewhat practiced in Turkey quite a long time, where you had the staunch character of a state and its bureaucrats or its elements have controlled a daily business of the government, even though you had elected governments in place.
We're going to make it easier than ever to get vaccinated. Visit vaccines.gov, vaccines.gov, or text.
It's a concept that's usually seen in third world countries where corruption is rife. But Donald Trump and his allies have exposed that the same phenomenon can happen in the free world.
Unelected deep state operatives who defy the voters to push their own secret agendas are truly a threat to democracy itself.
Trump's presidency between 2017 and 2021 was marred by scandal after scandal, with multiple attempts to impeach him and cause damage to his administration. Trump supporters and Republicans believe these scandals were the mastermind of the deep state. The Russian hoax showed the deep state in action. A conscious partnership between the Democrats, the shadow government and the media to damage Donald Trump's campaign. The big lie cooked up by the deep state was that Trump was a puppet of Putin, despite there not being a shred of evidence to support these claims. But the lies only got deeper and more damaging.
The President of the United States has claimed the Russia story is a hoax. Now, a stunning indictment says it is not.
We all know the president's no collusion, no obstruction mantra. We know it's false.
Investigation into Hunter Biden.
More investigations on Hunter Biden. This is a real winner for the Republican Party, isn't it?
All need to do our part. This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the Republic.
These fabricated stories were then secretly fed to the FBI and the media. They were rubbing their hands together, thinking they landed a whale. They did not. They just showed they were incompetent at their jobs and would believe anything the Democrats fed them. Through a conduit, Clinton's campaign commissioned an ex-British spy who created a dossier of rumours and disinformation derived from a suspected Russian spy.
After 3 years of lies and smears and slander, the Russia hoax is finally dead.
These events showed the weaponized politicization and blatant lack of objectivity of these agencies. And after such a humiliating display of incompetence, you would think that stopped there, but they didn't.
That unprecedented FBI search at the home of former President Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida.
Investigation into former President Trump's handling of classified documents.
Becomes the first ex-president to have the FBI execute a search warrant on his home.
The FBI raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago, Florida residence. This was an unprecedented move that has never been seen before. Trump claims that the Department of Justice and the FBI asked his legal team in early June to put an extra lock on the door to the room where the boxes of documents reportedly marked as classified were stored. If this claim proves to be true, it could call into question why the government agents needed to use such heavy-handed tactics to seize documents they already knew about. On the morning of August 8, 30 FBI agents raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. He went on to say, then on Monday, without notification or warning, an army of agents broke into Mar-a-Lago, went to the same storage area and ripped open the lock they had asked to be installed. A surprise attack, politics, all the while, our country is going to hell. The warrant used for the raid has since been unsealed, and it's been revealed that the FBI was investigating potential breaches of the Espionage Act relating to the discovery of top secret documents. At best, this was a phishing exercise. At worst, it was a deliberate attack against the rule of law. It was a show of force by those in power against the man most likely to be the Republican presidential nominee. The president's passports were removed from his home by the FBI, a fact the DOJ denied through compliant members of the media, before he was forced to admit the truth when a member of Trump's team released an email from a member of the Justice Department's National Security Division acknowledging the Bureau had indeed removed the passports from Mar-a-Lago. They have since been returned. In another unprecedented move, Trump claims the FBI didn't allow his lawyers to be present during the raid. In another strange turn of events, the judge who signed off on the warrant to raid Mar-a-Lago was revealed to be Bruce Reinhart, who had previously defended numerous employees of the deceased pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. Reinhart left the US Attorney's Office in 2009. 2008 to set up a private legal firm and went on to represent a scheduler and pilots for the infamous Lolita Express, Epstein's private jet. To add fuel to the fire, one of Trump's top allies in Congress, House Freedom Caucus Chair Scott Perry, revealed his phone was taken by 3 FBI agents while he was travelling with his family. An infuriated Perry also suggested that new reforms to add thousands of extra bureaucrats to the IRS will only make things worse.
I think what people need to really think about is, in about a day, we're going to vote on a package, and it'll probably pass, where they're going to employ 87,000 new IRS agents. What do you think they're going to be doing? They're going to be coming for all of you. You know, so yesterday it was my cell phone. Tomorrow it's going to be average, hardworking Americans that are just trying to make it through their days.
A major part of Donald Trump's criticism of the deep state is their clear bias towards the Democrats. There are glaring double standards, and that the Democrats are not held to the same standards as their Republican counterparts. It's a good point. The Democrats have had their fair share of scandals over the past decade, none of which have been scrutinised to this degree. During her time as Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton attracted criticism for using her private email server for public communications rather than using official State Department email accounts. Clinton's personal server was found to hold over 100 emails containing classified information, including 65 emails deemed secret and 22 deemed top secret, as well as 2,093 emails marked as not classified, which were retroactively deemed confidential by the State Department. In the end, Hillary Clinton deleted thousands of emails using software called BleachBit to wipe her system, and her staff have also used a hammer to destroy devices. Let's pause and compare. Hillary Clinton had 22 emails deemed top secret. The Mar-a-Lago raid revealed 4 sets of top secret documents. People are calling for Trump to be jailed. Hillary Clinton was never raided. She withheld almost 32,000 emails deemed to be of a personal nature, and to this day, no answer has been provided to the public whether those deleted emails were ever recovered and investigated. The FBI concluded that Clinton had been extremely careless, but recommended that no charges be filed because she didn't act with criminal intent. And what about the Hunter Biden laptop scandal? There has been no resolution, and despite the gravity and sheer volume of shady deals Hunter is being investigated for, there has been no raid on either Hunter nor Joe Biden's homes. Hunter Biden is under federal investigation for tax fraud, money laundering, and unregistered lobbying, not to mention the evidence of illegal drug use, alleged firearm offences, and general lawless behaviour. The FBI has been in possession of Hunter Biden's computer hard drive since December 2019. Joe Biden made the claim in September 2019 that he had no part in his son's business dealings, but documents on the device say otherwise.
Have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
One of Hunter Biden's former business partners, James Giller, was the driving force behind Hunter and his uncle Jim Biden's planned multi-million-dollar deal with Chinese energy company CEFC. In an email to Hunter, Jim and other partners on May 13, 2017, Giller outlined an equity breakdown in which 10% of the lucrative CEFC joint venture would be held by Hunter for the big guy. Another partner in the deal, Tony Babalunsky, confirmed the big guy referenced in the emails was in fact Joe Biden. James Giller also instructed Babalunsky in May 20, 2017, don't mention Joe being involved. It's only when you are face to face. I know you know that, but they are paranoid. In addition, Hunter Biden was involved in a 2018 project by Burisma Holdings to export grain from Ukraine to China. Former CIA officer Joseph Kofod Black signed off on the project. The revelation of Hunter's ties to the venture came a month after his father's administration accused China of stockpiling wheat amid a global food crisis fueled by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. President Biden had predicted in March that the war would upend global wheat supplies, since Russia and Ukraine jointly account for about a fourth of the world's wheat exports. These dealings were investigated by the FBI, but to this day, it seems like they followed the same path as Hillary's investigations. They were swept under the rug. Jeffrey Epstein's crimes against children were first reported to the the FBI in 1996, but didn't come under proper investigation until 2005 by the Palm Beach Police Department. Palm Beach State Attorney Barry Krishna snatched the case from the Palm Beach Police Department and introduced a grand jury to investigate the child abuse. Alexander Acosta, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, said, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone." Epstein was sentenced to 18 months in the county jail, where he served 13 months in 2008 in minimum security after Acosta and the Justice Department negotiated a sweetheart deal with a non-prosecution agreement. Epstein was arrested at Teterboro Airport in July 2019 following a search of his New York residence by the FBI, where the agents discovered a hidden safe and found an enormous collection of photos of naked girls plus CDs of sexual acts. The FBI were doing their job, so we all thought, but the agents left Epstein's residence, abandoning the photos and CDs with Epstein's employees, free to wander about the place. As Kelly Maguire, FBI special agent in charge of the search, explained during Maxwell's trial, they only had a warrant to search the house, but not to remove evidence. Evidence at the heart of the entire sex trafficking scheme. And then the CDs and photographs disappeared. Epstein allegedly committed suicide on August 10, 2019. Now compare the FBI investigation to what has just happened to Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Epstein had several victims come forward for years before any investigation began. He was also given the privilege of a deal which bought him another decade of freedom. Then when the FBI finally investigated again, evidence was lost. Epstein's staff were allowed to be present whilst the search of his residence took place, and his associates were not questioned extensively. Comparatively, Trump wasn't awarded any privileges given to a pedophile and sex trafficker over the archiving of documents. Republicans and critics of the FBI, CIA, and other organisations known as the Deep State say they have been weaponised in modern politics. Trump's antidote to this is what he refers to as Schedule F. Trump enacted Schedule F late into his presidency, but it was scrapped once President Biden was elected to office. If re-elected in 2024, Donald Trump is reportedly planning on re-implementing Schedule F. A criticism of the current system that Trump flagged was that it's near impossible to fire deep state bureaucrats.
To drain the swamp and root out the deep state, we need to make it much easier to fire rogue bureaucrats who are deliberately undermining democracy, or at a minimum, just want to keep their jobs. They want to hold on to their jobs. Congress should pass historic reforms empowering the president to ensure that any bureaucrat who is corrupt, incompetent, or unnecessary for the job can be told, "Did you ever hear this? You're fired, get out."
Trump has kept his intentions of running in the 2024 election a secret so far, but it seems the Mar-a-Lago raid has motivated him to make up his mind in favour of running, with many commentators saying the raid has been a gift for Trump. There's no question that the Mar-a-Lago raid has lit a fire under Trump and his conservative base. His resolve to return to the White House and drain the swamp is stronger than ever, and the deep state are rattled.
The juice in the numbers.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
You talked all about your opening statement about the number of domestic terrorism threats. We've had multiple whistleblowers come to our office and tell us that they're being pressured to categorize cases as domestic terrorist threats that aren't. And I'm just wondering, because it was the opening of your statement, most of your statement, you talked about this new office you feel. Are you juicing the numbers?
So I'm not aware of the references you're making to the whistleblowers. What I can tell you is that the intelligence community has assessed that the threat we face from domestic violent extremism is elevated, and that's consistent with what I see on a daily basis.
Who is Timothy T-Bolt?
I'm sorry, I don't know that name.
You don't know that name? Mr. Grassley does. Mr. Grassley cited in his letter. Mr. Gates brought him up in his 5 minutes of questioning. Mr. T-Bolt's a guy who suppressed information that was verifiable about Hunter Biden in 2020. You don't know who this individual is?
I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
You know what's also interesting about this individual? He's the guy that the whistleblowers told us is pressuring them to recategorize the cases as domestic terrorism cases. And you don't know anything about him.
I do not.
All right, well, I guess that maybe stands to reason.
This was supposed to stay in-house, but it was leaked to Project Veritas. The memo was titled, "Violent Threats Against Federal Law Enforcement, Courts, and Government Personnel and Facilities Following Court-Authorized Search." Now, I'm wondering when that memo was written, because I don't think any of those things happened right after the surge. And it was leaked, not... When did they write that? Anyone that is upset over the Trump raid should never turn to violence. None of us. That's what the left does. That's what they want. That's what they need us to do. We're not the Weather Underground, Antifa, or BLM, but the government is now identifying and labeling potential threats in the wake of the raid. Look at who they're labeling. Quote, "Perceptions of government overreach and election fraud." Oh, that makes me dangerous? Does that mean that every libertarian or constitutional conservative is now an extremist and on some sort of blacklist? Election fraud. I mean, does that mean Al Gore, Hillary Clinton, Stacey Abrams are now on that FBI list? I'm just curious if they mean anyone questioning the election, or just specifically those who question Trump's election, or the behavior from basically every Democrat every time they lose. Unusual purchase of military-style tactical equipment. What does that mean? Does the ATF come to our homes to see if we bought a vest? Unusual acquisition of weapons and ammunition. Could you please define unusual? And how does this in any way jive with the Second Amendment? It is our constitutional right to buy guns and ammo. Doesn't say how many. Increasing or extreme adherence to conspiracy theories. Let's say somebody wrote and everybody in the government said it was a conspiracy. Now, 2 years later, it's cat's out of the bag. Would that be somebody who was adhering to a conspiracy theory? Will any narrative outside the official government response be classified as a conspiracy theory? No one is calling for violence here, have you noticed? In fact, Trump himself has warned that the temperature is too high. He offered to help cool things down. And he's exactly right. But I'm not so sure the government wants a cooler environment. They want extremists, and they haven't been able. They've been trying since the Tea Party. They can't find people, so they'll create them. The people that are questioning the government right now are not inciting violence. It is the people that are weaponizing the government. Don't give them what they want.
God bless you. God bless America. Don't forget to hit that like button, share my videos, find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those good things. And please check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like their products, please click on the link below this video. Put Kevin in a promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. If you'd like to donate to Kevin's Corner, feel free. The links are below this video. If you want to be a part of my $2 a month club, also feel free to do that. All it entails is you simply dropping $2 a month into one of those links below the video. Or if you want, you can drop a nice big fat lump sum in there to offset the stuff that we know goes on with big tech. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Make sure that you are still subscribed. And finally, set your notification button to all, because YouTube is playing games, y'all. Now, God bless you. God bless America. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner.